Twitch page, send out the tweets, get everything connected, and we should be good. Alright. Hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is December 12th, and this is the December 12th TextQuest Devstream. So, today we are going to be... I don't know if we'll finish it, actually we probably won't, but we'll be starting the cutscene for the canyon, specifically the cutscene where the wizard shows up, cuts the bridges, and then mocks you and disappears. So, current state of affairs, I have been running more tests with Karante. I've not quite finalized, but mostly finalized the, oh, actually, you know what? This is outdated, isn't it? Give me a second. I have updated all of the art assets that I needed, and they're basically to the point where I think we'll be good. However, I do think that I'm going to have some last-minute changes I'm going to have to make them actually function, because I don't think Karante has a slice action that you can perform, so you can't like tell Karante to cut along a mesh. You can tell it to fracture, but not really to cut in a specific spot, which is kind of what we need. So probably what's going to end up happening is I'm going to have like 4 different models that I use for this bridge. Well, these bridges, I guess. We'll have the optimized standard one, which is not exactly the one that you're seeing here, although they'll look identical for the most part. The only difference is that the optimized one will have specific mesh optimizations, and specifically the end caps on these ropes will be gone. It's a little hard to see them because of how they're done. But you can see that these ropes have end caps, and since they're embedded into other meshes, you'll never actually see them. But Karante needs them for rope simulation, so I have to... So give me a second. I need to reboot this guy. Alright, now we should be good. Sorry, there's the one obligatory mic failure of the night. Don't know why that happens every single time. In any case, so we'll have a version of this bridge that has those end caps taken off, because every single rope has them. Even the small ropes, you can see that it has those as well. But they don't need to exist because you'll never actually see them. The only reason that they do exist is because, well, Karante needs them to. But ideally, I wouldn't have them there until Karante needs them, so we would have a optimized version of this that's pretty much the exact same for all intents and purposes and the appearance of it, but it's just going to perform a little bit better because there are, I don't know, probably, let's see, that would be 8 triangles per side, so that's 16 triangles per rope. Yeah, so that's a lot. That's 100-ish, around there. I mean, I guess that's not a ton of polygons, honestly, in modern hardware. If this was in 64 days, that would be huge, but... so that's just something that I want to optimize a little bit. Then we would swap into what you're looking at now, which is the Karante version of everything, where it's got end caps and everything, so it can simulate properly. Then we'll have that simulation running. Once the simulation reaches its endpoint, we're going to swap it out for another version of the model that has, again, optimized meshes that have endpoints where it needs them and doesn't have them where it doesn't need them. So it's kind of a weird situation, just based on how many times I have to swap this thing out. But doing so will give me performance benefits, and ultimately everything will look super amazing. So to give you a sense of where we are currently, I guess we could run a Karante simulation real quick. Let's go ahead and do that. Actually, oh, we're going to have to set up some extra Karante stuff. Or, well, actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and jump over to the actual, where are we here? The actual canyon. So, the current scene, oh, and I need to reset that all up, because of course I do. Hold up, give me a second. There we go. So the current scene is not actually set up to cause this bridge to collapse, and that's because I haven't simulated the collapse for it yet. I did a few test simulations just to figure out how the ropes would react to each other and how they would handle each other. And it turned out all right. Not really as all right as I was hoping, but it turned out all right. And well, how to phrase it? There were a couple of problems. For one, let me first start off by go ahead assigning these materials so they're correct. That's the planks. Then we need to do all of the ropes, all of them. Well, the suspension ropes anyway. All right, let's go all the way through here. And all right, let's go ahead and do that. And there we are. So now we're all nice and organized. All of our meshes have the correct materials on them. So the way things are currently set up, actually, hold on, before I do anything else, I will go ahead and assign these guys box colliders. Physics, box collider. Cool. So this should be good. The current plan of attack is basically when you first enter the canyon, this bridge will be up, allowing you to cross to the other side, although you'll never actually reach the other side. So you'll have a pretty nice visual as you're walking across this. Let's go ahead and run over there. I really should change the ground here too. So we get a nice little sweeping motion. Oh yeah, this is another thing that I need to do. Currently, the collision on the planks is all box colliders, so it's all just colliders on the individual pieces of wood. It's a little hard to see maybe on the stream, but you'll notice as I walk down this, I'm kind of jittering up and down a little bit, like I'm bumping. And that's because these surfaces are not making a smooth surface. They're not coming together to make one big smooth angle. So what I'll probably end up doing is instead of giving these guys all individual box colliders, I'll have an invisible collider that's just smoothed out, so that this walking across these bridges is a lot more pleasant. But let's see, so right about here. Yeah. So the idea here is, oh, I already activated it because I walked into it. Oops. The idea here is that you'll come up to the bridge, walk across it, and as you get to about here, the wizard is going to be on the other side. He'll mock you a little bit, and then he'll cut the bridge for, well, right about here and here, causing this bridge to collapse down onto the stack here. Then he'll cut this bridge here and here, causing this bridge to collapse against the canyon walls. Now, the reason for that, you can kind of see where the old bridge was, or is still technically, is so that we have a bridge forming a ladder, basically, that would allow you to climb back up here. Well, not up here. Back up to the canyon entryway, allow you to go back to the plains if you need to, and do a bunch of other stuff, because it's entirely possible that you'll enter the canyon without needing, or without having everything you need to progress. So I need to make sure that people can get back up. There is a unfortunate situation right now, I guess, which is my canyon. It'll be easier to see on this side. My bridge is not actually long enough to reach all the way to the bottom like the previous bridge did. Right now it reaches, I think, about 4 to 5 planks away from the bottom. But that's too far away for you to jump up and grab it, and it's too far away for you to just naturally climb it. So I need to either do one of two things, and I really don't want to do this again because I already did one of the two things. So option one would be to increase the dip of each of these bridges, which I think is kind of unrealistic. It doesn't really make sense for that to be the case, and I don't really care to do that. I don't want to do that because, like I said, I already did that, and it didn't. I added a pretty deep curve to what I had originally, and I only got 1 plank's worth of length out of that. So unless I basically made this stuff sag in a U shape, we're not really going to get much from this. So option 2 is once it collapses, I'm going to need something else at the bottom that would let you climb up to the bottom of the collapsed bridge. And I'm kind of leaning that way just because, one, if I do it like that, you will have a immediate visual indicator that you can do something special there. I was just thinking a pile of rocks for the most part, or maybe I might remodel part of the canyon walls to make it look a little bit better. But the point is that there would be some very obvious plateau or something down there that you could easily climb onto. So that would help people realize that they could walk over to it and climb on it, as opposed to just having it hang there. They might not really think much about it. And I do have the other problem. Oh, that was interesting. I jumped right as I hit the corner here, I think. That launched me up a little bit. Whatever. And of course, we're going to have a similar problem when this front bridge collapses. I'm not entirely sure how to tell people that they can climb down it. I do think that this isn't too much of an issue, though, because if people can't figure it out and they try to jump for it, the only thing they'll have to go through again when they reload the level is the cutscene, because they won't have been able to really do anything. Oh, right, these don't have collision yet. They won't have really been able to do anything yet, because nothing really happens until you can climb down, which is impossible until, well, the bridges collapse. Also, fun fact, don't know if you can see it on the stream, but I totally can. I have mesh gaps, so you're seeing little blue dots. I'm going to have to fix that. Not tonight, though. That's just something I need to fix. Curse you, past Chris. You were an idiot. In any case, so that's kind of the broad strokes situation as it is right now, and some of the changes that I'm going to need to make. And that actually hasn't even talked about the big problem that I'm going to have to figure out how to solve. One of the major problems that I'll talk about that in a little bit when I can show it to you. So in any case, so my plan for this cutscene is going to be, you come across here, as you're walking down the plank, you'll notice that the far side of the bridge is actually obscured from view for a little bit. So something I would like to do is I would like to basically make it so that when you're down in this crevice, dip, I don't know what you call these parts, the lowest part of the bridge. When you're down here and you start coming up the other side, the wizard will actually already be there. So think like a cartoon where you temporarily lose focus on something for like half a second, and then when you look back, there's a character standing there. Something like that, because I feel like that plays into the nature of the wizard and his personality. So as you walk down, he would appear when you can't see him, and then when you come back up, he's like, he's right there. And then, of course, if you decided to go back, he would still be there after you've seen him. But if you go down here, then back up, he won't be there yet. So that's a small little aesthetic thing. And then once you reach the center point, originally I was going to have you go all the way over here, and oh, good. I was a little worried that I didn't have collision on this. Although now you guys get to see what's on this side, and it's nothing. So originally I was going to have it basically trigger the cutscene when you started walking across this bridge and got to about here. He would just kind of like lightning bolt in and push you back. But since moving the player against their will is kind of a buggy mess, as we've seen in the past when we tried to do pushing the player, I don't want to do that. So instead, my approach is going to be wizard shows up when you can't see him. As soon as you come up here and touch down, probably when you get to about the middle here, magic walls will come in, seal you in for a little bit. He'll mock you, cut the ropes, the bridge will fall. He'll cut these ropes, that bridge will fall, and then he'll disappear, making the magic walls go away. At which point you're free to climb down this bridge, and then you'll be able to climb back up this bridge once you're done exploring in the canyon. Now, we do have another problem here, which is, let's see. Hold on. I call it no clip. True. Dang it. I forgot what my own no clip thing is. I thought it was SOS no clip. It's not clip, is it? All right, time to check something. Let's see here. I've forgotten my own passcodes. Let's see. Parser. Oh, you know what? I bet dictionary will have it. Yeah, there we go. Ah, it's just NC. Duh. There we go. I can move around. So one of the problems that we currently have is I never want to put the player in a position where they can drop something important in a position that they cannot get back to. Which means that since you, in theory, could come to the canyon, reach here, and then drop your lantern, then climb down this bridge, I need to make sure that you can climb back up it. Unfortunately, much like our other bridge, this bridge is not long enough for it to reach the bottom of the stack. And that introduces a much more complicated problem, because I don't really know what to do about that. I don't want to put rocks there because that would block the river. I can't have the bridge collapse onto the other wall because, well, then there would be no way for you to climb down as the player. I'm not entirely sure what to do about that. And I would prefer not to have the stack collapse or anything like that. I like having the image of the player standing up here, not really being able to do much besides climb down the bridge. Just gives you a nice view of the entire canyon. But I don't know what to do about that. And I obviously can't really push the player off because of the whole item thing. So I don't know what a good solution for this is. It's kind of problematic. Man, that really is annoying, though. Doubly so because I can't really think of a good alternative to that. And this is, of course, something that I figured out after I had started experimenting and modeling everything. Hello, William. Welcome to the Devstream. How was your stream today? Plural? Pretty sure it was plural. Either way, welcome. We're talking about Karante effects and bridge collapsing. So that's something that I need to figure out. I'm not entirely sure what to do about that, but worst comes to worst, I can always just put a rock here. I would prefer to avoid that, but it's not the end of the world if I have to do that. Or I guess alternatively, I could move the stack a little bit. Nah, no. I like having it be in the middle of the river. It's much more aesthetically pleasing that way. Well, in any case, let's go ahead and move over to Karante to show you the current simulation status, I suppose. Oh, right, and we can talk about the little problem that I'm having right now with it. So let's go over here to Canyon Modeling. All right, so I'm going to turn on a export frame that I did. So this is using an older model, but the thing about this model is that I had actually UV'd the ropes. So these ropes should look like these ropes. Properly UV'd, have the word rope written on them and everything. And that is not the case. Oops. Sorry. So that causes problems because if Karante effects actually causes my ropes to become non-UV'd, un-UV'd, I can't really use it. That kind of becomes problematic. So for now, I guess I can show you what the simulation looks like. Let's go ahead and disable the existing frame. All right. Oh, and real quick, actually, I'm going to go ahead and set up some suspension ropes. Let's see. Suspension rope joints. This would be top rope 2. Yeah, that's probably fine. All right. Let's see. Canyon bridge ropes. Bridge 2, I believe. This is the one problem with Karante's editor, is that it doesn't let you click on things. Yeah, top ropes 2. All right. So we want to go ahead and say top rope 3 and suspension ropes. Let's go ahead and generate these. Hold on. Did I do the bottom rope? No. Interesting. It didn't actually generate them. Oh, that's why. Duh. Because those aren't bodies. Um, suspension ropes. Let's go ahead and drag these in. We'll go ahead and get the suspension ropes for everything else too. While we're at it, drag these in. Ooh, what is going? Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Okay. Well, whatever. I'll go ahead and drag whatever else is left in here. There we go. Suspension ropes 1, 2, 3, and the original one. We have all of the main ropes in there, I believe. Oh, we don't, actually. Well, we're going to go ahead and get that with these. Boop. Okay, so that's all of our rope bodies. Now we should be able to create... There we go. Let's see. One more thing to do real quick. Bottom suspension ropes. We'll go ahead and... So this is going to be... Suspension ropes 3 and... Oh, crap. Ah! No. Delete this. Wrong thing. You go down here. And... I feel like this is not exactly going to do what I was thinking it would. Let's go ahead and add you. I'm going to get rid of the original suspension ropes because those aren't being used there anymore. Okay. Let's bake all of that real quick. Okay, let's go up here. Doing the same thing, we're going to get rid of the suspension ropes. Get rid of that, and we're going to add suspension ropes 2. Create, recreate. Okay. So all of these green boxes that you're seeing, these are anchor points. And these are what allow Karante to try and maintain connections between two different bodies. So let's go ahead and save. And we're going to simulate. So this should have things in a good spot. Let's take a look at our planks real quick. It is not. Because once again, everything got messed up. Oh wait, no. Nope, they're good. Alright, so let's go ahead and simulate. Oh right, our entire left bridge is just going to fall straight down. Whoops. Oh well. So you should be able to see the ropes being simulated here. They're snapping off of the bottom. And the reason I set that up is because otherwise it kind of warbles. It warps the bridge in its resting position. It's not nice and flat against the wall. Instead, it ends up looking more kind of like a reverse of what it currently does. We're going to get some nice collision effects here. We'll see it sort of ripple up and then do like a little bit of a whip. But we're simulating for 10 seconds, which is probably going to take us about well, we're at 200 frames, which is a third of the way there. So looks like another minute-ish for the simulation time. But you can kind of see what I'm talking about here through the clipping that's going on. The ropes have lost their UVs. I'm not entirely sure what to do about that, but that is a huge problem, because if the ropes aren't UV'd properly, they'll look really stupid. In fact, once we're done with this simulation, we'll probably just export this, and then set this up in the main canyon scene so that we can see what this actually looks like when we're running a simulation, or when we animate the simulation. All right. I probably actually could stop it right now. I don't think we need a full 600 frames of animation. Yeah, that's probably good enough. I'll stop it at 500. See if I can get it right on 500. It's like gas. Ah, one short. Ah, that sucks. Okay. So this is what it looks like in motion. Let's go ahead and get this. So that's what our bridge collapse will look like, which is more or less what I want. Although we did get some weird robotic movement over here. Look at this guy. Top left, he kind of just like snaps into place there. That's weird. All right. So let's go ahead and export that. So let's go ahead and pause this. Stop it from playing. We'll hit bake simulation. And we're going to turn off irresponsive bodies. We'll keep everything else on, though. So the reason I'm turning off irresponsive bodies is because my irresponsive bodies in the simulation here are just this cube, which I don't really need. Although I'm actually kind of curious if that means that my ropes are going to stay in place, or no, yeah, they would probably follow the exact same. It wouldn't make sense otherwise; they'd be resimulating. Okay, so we're going to bake into a new game object. It's going to be a text asset. It's going to be the full animation set that we want. I got the hiccups. Excuse me. Go ahead and collapse this. Karate FX bridge baked. It's going to be up here. Yes, that should be good. Maybe. Let me go ahead and create some subfolders here real quick. Alright, bake object prefix, B underscore, remove invisible bodies, skin ropes. I wonder if I... No. Vertex compression. Okay, everything should be good. Let's go ahead and hit bake. We'll put this here. Save that out. Oh, I guess I did get 500 frames even, but 499. Ah, programmer counting, right. So I guess that worked out pretty well. So once we get this set up, we'll be able to actually watch this cutscene or this simulation play out. It's going to be interesting. I'm not entirely sure how well it's going to end up playing. Let's go ahead and stop this real quick. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my canyon bridge and show you the ropes. So you can see the ropes here are all kinds of messed up. It's really, really frustrating. And I don't really know how to fix that. It seems to be just a natural part of Karante's workflow. My assumption is that it's doing this because of all of the subdivisions that it's done. If I compare the two game objects, you can see how many subdivisions this rope has here. If I turn this off and turn on the original one, you can see that it's not quite as numerous. I don't have quite as many subdivisions, especially in the suspension ropes. So that would explain why the UVs are messed up, but it's really frustrating that that's the case. And I haven't seen anything about that in their documentation, so I'm going to have to reach out to Karante themselves and or Next Limit. Is that right? Next Limit? The company that makes Karante, and ask them about this. But in any case, let's go ahead and pull this into our exports. There's our animation prefab. All right, we're going to go back over to the canyon. And we are going to go ahead and pull that in. Go all the way back up here. All right. I'm going to turn off my canyon bridge for now. Well, actually, no. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So we're going to try to set up the workflow for how this would work in the actual game. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and disable the bridge, the old bridge in the canyon, which will leave its shadow, which is kind of annoying, but we'll live with that. So we're going to turn on my canyon bridge. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep this canyon bridge on until we activate the cutscene, at which point we'll swap it out for the Karante FX bridge. And then once that's done, we won't do anything because we haven't baked out. Oh, crap. I should have done that. Oh, well. I should have baked the final frames of the animation so that we could just swap out the last animation frame of the collapsing animation with that export. But it's fine. We'll just keep it. We'll just keep it in the animated form, but not looping. All right. So we're going to turn this onto clamp. We are not going to have it animate right away, and it's going to be disabled. So that is pretty much what the initial scene is going to look like. So for now, let's go ahead and turn you off too, because we don't care about you. And there's a cube. Oh, that's the bridge. I can get rid of that. All right. So let's go ahead and open up timeline. Although actually, let me go ahead and create a thing for that. So animation, timelines, overworld, canyon. All right. Let's go ahead and click on this. Move this down here. Okay, so our current test timeline that we were running was just a test to set data and try and play a animation for Karante. But we're gonna have to do something a little bit more complicated than that this time. First things first, actually, I will go ahead and drag this. Oh, really? You don't want to work. That's interesting. Huh. I wonder what. Oh. Wait, what? Oh, weird. It was, I guess, timeline initializing. That's interesting. All right, so it lasts, yeah, about that long. That's about right. And we're going to have this trigger just instantaneously. So we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to want to add a track group. This is going to be our bridge objects, I guess. And now we're going to want to add some activation tracks. Activation track 1, activation track 2. So this first track is going to be for the Canyon Bridge itself, and the second one is going to be for the Karante Bridge. We're going to go ahead and set this to be... Oh, you've got to be kidding me! Why? Wait, can I... Oh no, it's that. That's so weird. Okay, do I have a... like, inactive? That is incredibly weird. So activation track doesn't even like... Why? So can I set this to inactive then? Oh, why would you do it like that? That's so dumb. I guess I have only ever used this to turn objects on, but that's so weird that it doesn't have a inactive clip. Great, now I have to add that. Well, thanks, Unity. Actually, real quick, let me go ahead and see if there's a playable track that I can do for that instead. Nope. Nope, there is not. Huh. I have to admit, I'm a little disappointed. Do you have any in here? Nope. Although interesting, we have time dilation tracks? I didn't add these. These must be example ones. That's interesting. Okay, so we could do slow-mo if we really wanted to. Oh, that could be really cool. Oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to test that out. I want to see if that works pretty well. Let's set our time scale just to like 0.5 while it's falling. We'll have that go the entire time. Or, actually, you know what? Let's have it go halfway-ish. So I guess I could just shorten this really crazy. So I'll have this be like 1 frame long. And at the end of this, it's just going to be inactive. That should work. Oh, and post-playback state for this will be active. Okay, so I think this will do everything that I expect it to do. Let's go ahead and delete this real quick. But let's find out. All right. So if we run over here, this should be our default bridge object, so we can walk across. Looking good. And as soon as we get here, it should start time dilation. Oh, it did, but it also... Interesting. But it also didn't animate the Karante stuff. But you can see that it did swap it out. Huh. Okay, let's select this. All the skin meshes. So it's activated, but it's not animating. That's interesting. Why not? Why do you defy me? Let's see here. Manual duration, -1, so we don't care about that. Animation behavior, if application not is plain. I mean, yeah. Weird. I wonder. Hold on. I'm going to start at 1 frame later, just to see if the fact that it's disabled is what's preventing it. So let's try that again. That would be really infuriating if that's the case. probably should also move my test spawn a little bit closer. Let's see. So we're going to run across here and... Ah! Really? Okay, I'm going to see if it even works. Turn on animate. Huh. I actually kind of like that as like a nice little effect, having it be slow like that. Right. So that's they kind of awkwardly stop, um, which is one of the other things that I need to figure out. Once I get the bridge into that fallen position, I don't really want the ropes to stop swaying. I think it would be nice if they had some like small loop that they did, just to show that they were, ropes and not static objects. Um, So I don't know if I want to simulate that or if I want to do that manually in Maya. That would suck in Maya. I really don't want to do that. Let's go ahead and say SOS clip. All right. Let's also go ahead and do SOS clip again. So this is where it falls. You can see that that's a little bit too far out of reach. Can't quite get to that. So we definitely need some way to get up there. And that's going to be part of... we probably won't worry about that tonight, because we'll be more concerned with setting up the actual cutscene itself. But the rope thing, that's going to bug me to no end. What can you do? If you want crazy advanced physics simulations. Still though, all in all, I do actually like that we have a slow-mo effect. That's kind of nice. I didn't even know that existed. And that can give us some pretty cool effects. But the actual bridge collapse itself is pretty good. We just need to get the wizard showing up to function. So let's go ahead. Where's my mouse cursor? There you are. Also, we need to figure out why exactly this won't play the animation. So let's go ahead and open this up. While that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and... Come on. I believe in you, Unity. You're not going to do it, are you? Alright. So we're going to go to the river stack real quick. I'm going to go ahead and add a ground basic type. It's going to be a dirt type. We're just going to go ahead and copy this. Let's go ahead and stick that over here. Might as well stick it everywhere. This component is new. Alright, so now we should actually get some dirt sound effects when we walk on that stuff. Oh, and you know what? I'm also going to go ahead and turn on my test spawn. Put that a little bit closer. Oops, there we go. But not flying out in the middle of nowhere, because that would be dumb. Alright, let's go ahead and move you about to here. Good enough. All right. So this is opened up. Let's take a look at CR animation behavior. So let's just see if this is even getting called. Oops, not lock, log. Test. I'm also going to go ahead and actually place this. I guess to be absolutely sure, we'll do this. I can't imagine that application is playing is returning false there, but I want to make sure that it's actually setting this up properly. That would be really weird if it needed, like, I don't know, several frames to prepare itself. That would seem strange to me. Because it is definitely swapping them out, so we know that much is working at least, but the animation stuff doesn't seem to be happening. Like, it just doesn't seem like that animation.animate is getting set to true. So I'm actually going to go ahead and turn off maximize on play. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to see if I can see that variable flicker for one frame. If that's the case, that means that it's getting set to immediately not animate after we tell it to, which is very, very annoying. So let's see. And why? Why did you work that time? I haven't... What the... I didn't do anything. Let's have it unselected, deselected, and see if it does the same thing. That's really weird. Really weird. Oh, right. It's just going to use my previous sounds. Ah, that's so weird! Why? So if it's not selected? That's so dumb. Hold on. I don't believe that. But also I want to fix some stuff here with some footstep sounds. Okay, so I'm going to replace this, add a basic ground. It's going to be wood. Okay, go ahead and let that go. So this is going to be super weird. I'm going to select this and play. That's incredibly weird. I really hope that's... Why? That means that their inspector is doing some sort of initialization. That would be so annoying. Ah, no! That is totally the case. Yeah. Well, crap. So again, if we deselect it and play, I don't know what to do about that. I guess out of curiosity, I'll leave this on for now, and then we'll see what happens. So if it's left on, will it work? Is it purely because it's been disabled? I really hope not. That would be really annoying. Also, this is going to be like really intense. Yeah, no. Wonderful. So that means that it is something about it being turned on, which means that I need to figure out how long that takes. Let's go ahead and go back here. So the Curante being activated should happen right away. And we should have a frame delay here. I'm going to delay this by about 5 frames, see if that's enough time. And then we'll go ahead and give this a shot. That's really annoying. Jeez, I don't know what to do about that. Does that mean that there's an initialization call that I can make? Okay, I'm not going to be mad. I'm just going to be a little livid. A little bit. Maybe a little bit irked. Right. This is not what I want. Although, out of curiosity, I am curious to see what the Kurante animation stuff looks like, because maybe I could actually reuse that. Oh, hold on. What are you doing? What are you doing, Unity? You seem to be frozen, which is never up. Oh, phew. Never mind. I thought for a second it crashed, but it was just it losing focus. Let's see what this is in the Explorer then. Probably all binary, aren't you? Yes? Like half binary? Clearly getting some non-binary stuff in there. But it looks like for the most part this is binary of some kind. Well, that's annoying. I really don't want to have to brute force this stuff, so go ahead and close that out. Right. All right. Let's see if there's something else. Animation dot active animation text. Oh, that's the okay. So simply setting animate to true doesn't actually do anything. Okay. What other options do I have? Change to animation track. Excuse me. Close active animation. Runtime enabled. Finish animation baking. That's interesting. Active animation name, events, track count. Frame data, header, visibility data, game object stuff, get type. That's interesting. GPU skin animation. You know what? Let's take a look at the actual editor for this. So we have a speed that we can play things back at. We have a repeat mode, which clamp should be what we want. Loop means that it'll reach the end, then start back over. Ping pong means it reaches the end, then goes in reverse till it reaches the beginning, then goes in reverse till it reaches the end, such, and on and on till the end of time. Clamp just means that it gets to the end and stops. So animate, as we've established with our tests in the past, animate is what actually lets the animation go. But I don't really know why. Dang, I really wanted to do GPU scanned animation. That would have been really cool. But it's like, nope, can't do it if it's DirectX only. So, although, I wonder if I can toggle that stuff on the fly. They were get setters. Which kind of makes me wonder if I can... Oh, wait, no, is that DirectX 11 or DirectX 12? Okay, DirectX 11, that's good. Recompute normals. The animation was baked with the option save vertex systems. Normals will be recomputed in each frame. Oof. I probably don't want that. Vertex animations will be processed on the GPU, requires DirectX 11 hardware level, and vertex animation material, which I don't use. Okay. This is a little annoying. Start time off site, sync with animator. We don't. Oh, that's interesting. Do I have tooltips for that? No. Cool. So I could, in theory, drive animations from this. That would be interesting. Well, in any case, optimize hierarchy of bone, unoptimize default particle system, export to FBX. Oh, that could be worth looking at. I don't know if that would be better or not. So I could, if I can export it to an FBX, that means that I could potentially re-UV those ropes. That wouldn't actually be that bad. I would probably get some stretching, but it wouldn't take too long for me to do. We might try that. Actually really curious to see this, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'm not entirely sure what to do about this, though, because if it won't work, if it's disabled, I don't know what to do. Start animations in frame 1, export visibility as scale? I don't know what that means. Do current skinning, I guess. Let's go to text quest, art, models. It's gonna be fun. So I now have FX. I now have ProBuilder and Karante FX exporting models from Unity, and then I have Maya cleaning up those models and bringing them back in as FBXs. Oh boy, so much fun. It's an art-heavy time in TextQuest. Speaking of art, that's not what I wanted to call that. We'll call this Canyon Bridge as a test case. Let's go ahead and say file name is going to be Canyon Bridge. I'm very curious if we can actually... It is currently exporting animation, and for some reason it is anchored to the top left of my screen. The least obvious place. I probably shouldn't have done this on the stream, actually, because I have no idea how long this is going to take. But, I mean, 500 frames, I wouldn't think would take that long for it to export. But I guess we'll find out, won't we? Oh, there we go. But, maybe not. Okay, the progress bar went away. But, there we are. No, but it doesn't tell you that it exported. That's disappointing. Let's go back over to... I guess we'll probably want here. Go ahead and come... Models, Carante FX, Canyon Bridge. So it did make an FBX. Alright, I'm game to try this. This is the Maya file for the old, or not the old, the existing bridge. We're going to go ahead and close that. Then we're going to open Maya with that new file and see what happens. So, in regards to my thoughts on Carante and implementing into TextQuest, it's really cool. It's just got a couple of minor usability problems that are problematic for me. I definitely think that I'm going to continue. Well, not. I don't think I'm going to continue using this because it's really, really cool, and doing stuff like bridge collapses is really, really cool. And I really am looking forward to implementing this on larger simulations for later parts of the game because I have some really cool ideas for that. But in any case, let's go ahead and go back here. Yep. And now we wait to see what Maya does with this. Oh, it's probably, yeah. Oh, that explains why it took so long. Because it was individual animations per object. That makes sense. This is going to be interesting. So if this works, then I can kind of, I don't want to say safely, but I might be able to reskin or re-UV the rope or the ropes, and that would, I mean, that would solve that problem. That's a pretty significant problem, so being able to fix that is a nice plus. But that's only if this actually works the way I expected. We might be out of luck, and this FBX that was exported might not be the model. It might just be the animations, which means that we wouldn't really be getting much because I couldn't really do much to fix the UV problem. Yep, it's gone. Unless it's still waiting to pop in, which could be the case. Okay, Maya, I know that you're... Whoa, lines! Ah! What is up with this? There we go. Are these bone animations then? They are the bones. Okay. Those are the bottom rope. Okay. Oh. Yep. It's all bone animations. Disappointing. Disappointing. Yeah. So I could probably scrub. Yeah. That sucks. So I can't actually do anything, I don't think, to try and get the UVs, because as you can see, these are all bones. Let's take a look at Windows, Outliner. Yeah, these are just the bones. Oh, no, they're not. Ha ha ha! Maybe. I honestly don't know how well this is going to go, but we're going to try this. I'm just curious to see if I can do this. Okay, so we're going to go to all of these things. These are all the ropes. We're going to go ahead and assign... Oh, I don't... Oh, wait, no, I can't. Oh, no, that's not right. Hold on. We're going to make a new material real quick. Or actually, I can just take the existing one and apply a file to it. Let's see, Canyon Bridge. Hit open here. So that should automatically apply to pretty much... Oh, nice. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. Alright, so now if we go ahead and try to edit our bottom rope, this is going to get kind of weird. Oh, good. Whew. I was like, I really hope I can grab this. Oh, and it generated them along an axis that I would have preferred it didn't. Because these are all rotated weirdly. Ugh. That's annoying. Well. Alright, so I guess we're going to do something like this. Oh, no! No! Really? Ah! That's fair, I guess. So, I was hoping that I could just select this edge loop, except it's not an edge loop. Oh, at least I can do that. So I have to manually grab all of this. Oh, but you know what? Before I even do that, let's go ahead and open up the UV editor. Do you even have UVs? You don't, do you? Nope. Well, this is going to be fun. Really? Interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and grab pretty much all of these guys. We're going to auto project. Okay, so we can get something. And just out of curiosity, so if I animate that, yep, they seem to stick. All right, so we can do this. It's just going to be a long process. Okay, then we probably won't do that on the Devstream, although that is encouraging that I can actually simulate this stuff, export that, clean it up in Maya, and then bring it back in. Does that mean that it's going to be more efficient to do it that way? Because then I could play it back as a regular animation. That's hard to say. Because I thought that part of the reason that Karante had its own animation format was so that it could optimize certain things, but that might not be correct. That might have just been me misinterpreting what they were saying. Still, though, the fact that I can actually re-UV these things in Maya means that I can at least clean these things up. Alright. Alright, well, we'll leave this alone for now. Oh, God. It's like getting cold or something. That's so weird. I also am incredibly concerned about the scale. I feel like that's going to cause problems. Still, though, we have some decent options for this moving forward. But I guess I'll probably try to do that when we finish up with the stream tonight. I'll probably keep trying to do UV stuff after the stream. But for now, let's go ahead and come back here. That does make things interesting. So, I mean, if that's my workflow, do I have a reason to do things like that? Would it make more sense just to bake it? Then export it to Maya and bring it in as cleaned up versions of itself? I'm not sure. But I am curious enough to try it, so let's go ahead and do it. So we're going to go ahead and save this out. We're going to export this back as Canyon Bridge Karante FX. I will say Karante test for now. Oh my, that is a very long save time. Let's see here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to say File, Export Selection. We're going to export this as Canyon Bridge _ Karante. We will export animation. We have, I believe, 500 frames of animation. So that should be good. Let's go ahead and export selection. Oh, man. I don't think I've ever actually exported something that had so much animation before. But it's all bone animation, so that makes sense. So we're going to re-import this into Unity, which should allow us to play back those animations as regular animations. Oh, man. That is nuts. Uh-oh. That's never a good thing. The plugin has changed some animation curves, tangents type to user to ensure interoperability. Okay, that should be fine. Close there. Okay, it's been exported. Right there. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to say create folder imports. We're going to try just dragging that in. So we want Canyon Bridge Carante. Let's bring that in. See if that breaks anything in Unity. I feel like it might. It's also interesting because it seems like Carante converted everything into skin meshes, which I guess makes sense. That's an option that it can do. And I think it does that for performance reasons, so that you get some performance benefits. Okay, so let's take a look at it. It's not importing its own materials. That's all fine. All right. Yeah, so that's so weird. Okay. So if we turn you off. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's going to make things so much more complicated. Hold on. I gotta select all the meshes, but not the bones. We don't care about the bones. We just care about the actual meshes. Where are you? And why are you called small rope when you're not supposed to be the rope? Oh boy. All right. Oh, it's because the planks are like, oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. So let's see. We're gonna want you guys. Oops, not you. It's gonna be a delicate procedure. Nope, not you. You and you. Sorry, I don't know why I make sound effects whenever I do stuff. I feel like I need something to fill up the dead air. Let's see. Click on you guys. Oh, so many ropes. It's almost like this is a suspension bridge of some kind. Almost done. And watch, I missed one probably. Okay, we're going to bring this back over here. Do you look right? UVs are messed up on that, but that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, more or less. That's about what I would expect. I'm going to actually go ahead and turn on the original Canyon Bridge and then turn everything but the posts off on it. Interesting. Let's go ahead and select this. Come back over here, go to animation. We do have one animation. What is happening? It only had 250 frames of animation? Really? Okay. I really do like that the other bridge ropes just sit there and fall. Okay. So that works. Let's go ahead and it's not going to be loop time. We don't have curves. We don't have anything else really. We'll go ahead and rename this to collapse. Hit apply. And while that's happening, because apparently Unity does not like processing this, I'm going to take a drink. All right. Okay, are you done, Unity? Is that a yes? I think that's a yes. All right. So we have an animation for it now, but we do need to go ahead and make a animator controller. So we'll call this bridge controller. Let's go ahead and go up here. We'll assign this. Go ahead and open this up in Animator. Ooh, right. Frack. We probably, I guess, want to have the first frame also be exported. Oh, crap. Revert that. We want to add a new one. This one is going to only last for one frame, I suppose. And it's... no, we won't loop time. We'll call this one idle. So that's going to be the frame before it collapses. This is probably not going to be needed, but I like having idle versions of an object, so it has an idle animation, then whatever animation, just so that it doesn't always go immediately into playing the animation that it's expected to do. If I don't want it to, I like to have that option to let it idle for a second if I need to. All right, so let's go ahead and drag that animation in here. Let's go over here. We're going to go ahead and say this is the default state. We'll go ahead and add a... I want to do a trigger. We'll try a trigger. I almost never do triggers, so... Actually, I lied. We're not going to do trigger because I would have to recode some stuff. We're going to do a bool. So we'll say is collapsing. We'll make a transition. That transition will simply be is collapsing is true. All right. Okay. Man, this was a way more complicated thing than it needed to be. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn these on, turn this off, and then we're going to tell our timeline to basically look for that. So we're going to mute this track. We don't care about it. It's not going to do anything. We are going to make this our bridge that's getting activated. And we are also going to go ahead and say set animator parameter track. Set animator parameter. We will drag this in. Set animator parameter, and that's going to be is collapsing. Oh, I guess I did have support for trigger. Womp womp. Set that to true. All right. I think we'll be good for this. Oh, and I can probably actually just we'll mute you as well. Okay. So things should work the same way, I think. We'll find out. This is a super weird workflow. Like simulating it in Unity to fix the simulation in Maya. I feel like I should have just cut out the middleman and had simulations run in Maya. All right, it works. All right, that works pretty well, actually. Oh. What? Time out. What happened? Ah, that is not correct. Uh-oh. No, Unity, why did you freeze? Why must you make me nervous? Uh-oh. This could go poorly. Oh, no. Don't crash, Unity. Don't crash. Don't crash. Okay, now I kind of wish that you would crash just so that something would happen. Oh, that would be why. All of those keyframes. It went back to idling. Hold on. That can't be right. Can't you bridge current? Really? deeply confused. Let's go back up here. We shouldn't reset anything. Oh, I know what it. I think I know what it is. Also, I'm actually going to change this. So, freaking timeline. We're going to add an activation track. Let's go ahead and drag this up here. This is actually going to be for our planks. Can I actually duplicate that? I can. That's even better. We're going to make that for the planks and the ropes. Those are the only things that we actually care about. I think what's happening here is our cutscene is getting to the end, and then should be setting it to. Huh. Okay. Then alternate theory. Let's watch this entire animation and see if it snaps back up. No? But then why? Yeah, that's weird. Okay, well, let's go ahead and turn off preview. We'll keep an eye on that to see if it isn't animating as we would expect. It's really strange. Rumph. Okay, so we swap out. We get our time dilation, which I probably should turn off for now because all it's doing is making this take longer. And then when it's done, it just pops back in. But this is the newer one, the Karante version of it. You can tell by the messed up UVs. That's interesting. I don't know what's going on there. So first things first, we're going to turn off the time dilation track. We're going to mute that. Oh, it's interesting. You could do curve recording, I suppose. Second is we're going to go over here to game. We're going to turn off maximize on play. I'm going to drag the animator up here. And I want to, I guess, get these guys closer together. We're going to keep an eye on our bridge Karante, which also should be disabled by default. So we're going to keep an eye on this to see what it does, because we should see it looping idle, and then we should see is collapsing is set to true, and we should see collapse happen. And then we'll be able to tell if it's just like replacing itself for some reason. Uh-oh, hold on. Oh, are you just not doing it because you're deactivated? That's fair. Okay. So collapse it's checked off. We are collapsing currently. Now, what the heck? I don't even know. I legitimately don't know how that's happening because there's not a transition back. I'm a little confused here. Could it be because it's enabled and disabled? Go ahead and turn that on manually. Let's see if it comes back. Okay, so it freezes. But if we select this, then disable. Okay, so that might be the case. Basically, the timeline is maybe for a frame disabling and then re-enabling it. That would be weird. I wouldn't put it past them to do that. But that is kind of annoying. I guess let's go ahead and make this the longest part of the clip. this would be very annoying. Active, inactive, inactive. That's all true. Let's go ahead and save this. Okay. Let's give this another go. What the? It's because you're in preview mode? Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, that's weird. Let's go ahead and play again. I am curious about this. This has been like a hugely animation-centric stream for some reason. It was not my intention. I knew there's going to be a little bit of it, but I did not intend for it to be this much. Okay, so there's our swapping happening. And then we get a pop-in right about now. Oh, it didn't do it this time. Okay. Weird. But good, I suppose. So I guess that fixed it. So maybe it was just shy of a full frame on its final clip length, and that's why it was freaking out like that. Well, all right. That's convenient. Well, okay then. Let's go ahead and stop. So that with that means that our timeline for playing this is set up. It's kind of convoluted. Actually, let's go ahead and get rid of the stuff that we don't need. That is a little frustrating. So anytime we have soft body simulation, so ropes or pretty much anything that's not hard, I guess we'll have to clean that up in Maya, which means that we would export it as an FBX from Unity, bring that, well, export the Karate stuff as an FBX from Unity, bring that into Maya, clean it up, do whatever UVing we need on things like ropes, bring that back into Unity, and then we'll be able to actually play it. That is a lot more effort than I would have liked. Oh, and we have to make sure that whatever we're playing it on is active for the entire duration and does not accidentally get toggled on or off, or on and off. So much fun. Okay. Well, with that, I guess we can start working on the next part of the cutscene, which is the actual wizard appearing. So we're going to want to come up with some way to detect if the player can see an object. And that is not an area of my expertise. We could cheat by doing ray casting, but I don't think that's actually good enough. Let me think. The simplest thing for me to do would be to have a box collider that then raycasts from the four corners facing the player, basically shooting towards the camera. And if all of them are blocked, then it would work. I think that's correct. That obviously wouldn't work if I had something that the player could obstruct their center view with, but not the sides, or vice versa, the sides but not the center. That's unlikely given this layout, as you can see. And the idea that I'm shooting for here is, just to refresh your memory, is basically when we get to the dip of the bridge, of the first bridge, the wizard will show up on the other side without you knowing, so that when you finish walking up this bridge, so when you start walking up here, you'll see him over there. Oh, crap! Forgot about that. Right. We actually have part of the cutscene working. I forgot. So we need some way of absolutely detecting that you cannot see it, because that's one of the big things, right? Is I can't really have him show up mysteriously if you're looking straight at where he's going to show up. It's not how that works. Oh, I probably can maximize on play for this now too. So we do have problems with things like this. What happens if they jump? Although, actually, I'm a little curious. Oh, actually, no, we have even bigger problems than that, honestly. I'm going to go ahead and mesh or put colliders on everything in the way that they would probably have colliders. Because currently only the boards have colliders, but that's not actually how it's going to be set up in the end. So let's go ahead and put the posts I would normally do box colliders, but because of the way they're set up, I'm going to have to do mesh colliders for now. All the planks already have them, so now we do the ropes. Oh, the ropes. All of the ropes. Alright, I'm going to go through here, uncheck the parts that we don't need. Okay, we're going to add a mesh collider. That's all we really care about for now. But the reason I did that is because I'm sure that there will probably be some people who can get up onto the ropes. And that will be annoying, because I'll have to know if they're looking at the wizard or not. So now these actually have collision on them. Yep, there it is. So people could get up on the ropes, which I kind of want to reward if you do that. Like, maybe you can try to run across the entire thing. That would be really, really cool. But it would probably kill the player. So that's probably not the best idea. Also, real quick, I'm kind of curious if you can fit through the sides there and accidentally walk off the edge now. It'd be very convenient if you couldn't, and they formed like sort of semi-permeable walls that were too thin for you to actually get through. Okay, can't get through there. Oh, yeah, I feel like some you can. Some of these you definitely can. Yeah, like that one. So the lower parts it looks like you can, but the higher parts, I don't think. Oh, but you can climb on them. It's like the old Skyrim trick, going up at an angle. Let's see. Oh, that one would have killed me. So yeah, I might have to rethink that then a little bit, because we have to handle situations in which the player is actually walking along the rope bridge in a way that makes sense to them, well, to me, or we need to handle what happens if they're up here running along the ropes like crazy ninjas. Because obviously if they're here, then they can see where the wizard would show up, so he can't just mysteriously poof in. So I would prefer not to try and do two different approaches. I mean, that would be nice, but that would be a lot of effort to set up, especially since I would really rather have the wizard showing up unexpectedly only once in the game, and if I can only have it once in the game, then I want to make it somewhere that's very, very fun. This would have been fun, but since you can walk on the ropes, makes it a little bit more difficult. So what to do about that? That means that I need to actually think up a new approach to this. Because I don't have a really good way for the wizard to show up here. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I could just do a burst of magic, but I'd prefer to have him show up differently each time, just to make him, just to make him more fun as a character. But I don't know what I can have him do here. I don't know how he can show up. There's not really a lot of stuff in this environment. It's kind of just the word canyon for the most part. So let's go ahead and up here. So, trying to think if I can even spell the word wizard out of anything here, and I kind of can't. I can get W from the water over there. I can get an R from there as well. I can get an A from canyon, and nope, Z can't be done because they're not capital N's. So I can't do I or Z, but I can do or D. I don't have a D, right? Post rope. P's could be reversed into D's, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know what a good approach to that would be. There's not really a good spot for the wizard to show up out of. I suppose I could just go nuts with it and have him like drill out of the ground. Why not? I mean, that's as good a way for him to appear as any, I suppose. So sure, let's go ahead and start doing that. Okay, let's see. Where are my wizard prefabs at? Wizard. Oh, really, it's an interactive object. I didn't realize I even got that far with him. Alright, let's go ahead and pull him in. So here is our wizard. Go ahead and move him into his ultimate position. Alright. We'll go ahead and also rotate him 180 degrees. And we'll turn on probe reds and have him move at one whole unit at a time. Oh, it's not on. I was going to say, like, why aren't you doing it? So ultimately, we would probably have him show up about there. And actually, you know what? I'm kind of curious. Let's see what he looks like, even. I'm a little worried he might not make enough of a profile. Because he is fairly small. And he's red against orange. Although he will be against a blue backdrop, actually. So he'd probably show up about here. It's really far away. It's kind of... It's far enough that you can't actually read it very well. Like, I think I can make out... Like, I can read wizard, but beard is kind of tough to read. So if I was, like, half... If there was half the distance, that would work. Not entirely sure what to do about that. What if... No. I mean, I really don't want to take control away from the player. But it kind of would make a little bit more sense. Let's go ahead and... Let's see, we're going to keep the wizard where he is. We're going to keep the bridge. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the RU trigger. I'm going to turn off the bridge trigger so we don't activate that cutscene. So I'm going to walk all the way across the bridge to the other side and kind of like act out what could be done. So we walk over, be like, oh, it's so cool. There's stuff here. There's a river and a waterfall. And, oh, there's a bridge. And right about here, also, I'm a little worried about that. Yeah, that's somewhat concerning. It's not actually turning. Okay. So once you get to about here, like right when you're about ready to step off of the bridge, maybe we could have the wizard show up and just bore out of the ground. Then he'll pick you up, so control would be taken away from the player, which I really would prefer not to do, but it would work. Then basically he would hover you back a little bit. So he would kind of like, I don't know what a good psychically lift you, or I guess magic. He's a wizard. So he would lift you up, push you back, and as he's pushing you back here, you would see two magic scissors, well, a magic scissors, show up, and he would snip the ropes here. So he would cut them on his end, obviously. So we would get some nice rotation and I was going to say torsion by the bridge as its ropes are cut. And then once he's done with that, he would basically have you... So you'd be getting pushed back as the ropes are getting cut. So you would see them all get cut, and then you'd see the bridge fall out from under you. Then he would... Would he throw you all the way back? I kind of feel like he's going to put you here to kind of strand you. Then you'll see him, while he's still holding you, he'll cut these ropes. And once that's done, he'll laugh and then leave. So you'll be able to climb down this collapsed bridge. You'll be able to climb up the other side when you get over there. I think that works. The only downside to it really is that it does involve me taking control away from the player, which I'm not a huge fan of. But also, just out of curiosity, do you not have an animator set up? Because you should totally have an animator set up. You don't. That's weird. Okay. Hold on. I don't believe you. Yeah, that looks a little bit more appropriate. Let's go ahead and turn you off. Turn you on. There we go. He might be set up more appropriately. I think this guy has the... Yeah, okay, that's got the one that I want. The wizard should have like an idle animation that's kind of him breathing. Oh, and also, you know what, before we delete the other one, go ahead and copy its component. So now if we were to go over and look at him, you'll see him doing a kind of breathing motion with his letters. Looks like he's like breathing in and breathing out. So he just kind of gets a little bit taller and then gets a little bit shorter. It's just a nice thing for characters to do to let you know that they're alive. Because otherwise they would be completely static. Oh good, I was really worried for a second there that he wouldn't animate. And then I would look like a fool. So yeah. So that's his idle animation when he's just kind of standing around doing nothing. So I think that that plan is a pretty decent approach. I just... I don't know. I'm not super... I really don't want to take control away from the player. I really would like to avoid that if at all possible. But at the same time, let's go ahead and pause this real quick. I'm gonna collapse my triggers, spawn points, cutscenes. Let's look at my hero real quick. Do I have a can control? I do. Okay, so with this can control disabled, I can't move, but I can look around. So I could do that. I'm kind of... I'm actually a little interested. Can I disable you? Yes. Good. I'm going to rotate my guy. This is going to be really weird, but... I'm going to rotate him on the z-axis by 90 degrees. Oh, and I righted myself, apparently. That was interesting. Really? That's... Huh. So do you just, like, automatically... Huh. Alright. I was going to try to... Basically, when the wizard picks you up, I was going to have him rotate you in space. But that apparently won't work. Because I guess character controllers don't like that. Or it could just be my scripts, admittedly. But in any case... yeah, so... Well, that's not the end of the world. Alright, so I guess let's go ahead and start making cutscene scripts for this. Let's go ahead and collapse this stuff. Collapse you. We'll keep the Canyon Bridge stuff open. Alright, so shared animation. I'm going to have player, so create folder player, not player, player. I'm going to have a folder for can control and controls, maybe. So we're going to go ahead and say create playables, playable behavior. We're going to call this set player control behavior. All right. So this behavior is going to either activate, I guess probably deactivate player controls for the duration of the clip, and then reactivate them when the clip is over. So let's go ahead and, assuming I can do this, create another playable. This one's going to be an asset. So we're going to say set player control clip. Are we gonna want to track for this? Not entirely, I don't think. Who am I kidding? At this point, I prefer to have the tracks, I guess. Just because it lets me rename them automatically, and that's a nice thing to have. Um, Although that's kind of redundant, isn't it? Yeah, I guess that is. So no point in that then. Let's go ahead and open these both up. Reload all. All right. So let's go ahead and get rid of some of this. We're gonna make this text quest. Let's go ahead and save this. Oops. See, there's already what? Did I? Oh, that's just what it was doing before. Okay, weird. I don't need you open anymore. There we go. Text quest. Everything here is pretty much as we would expect. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and say, so this is player control clip. Do I even need anything as a variable? Not really. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and say, we'll do the whole thing that we normally do. So script behavior, or sorry, script playable. Set player control behavior. No, that's the playable is equal to script playable set player control behavior dot create with the graph as the actual thing. This will return our playable. Then that's pretty much all I need to do. I don't actually have any parameters to set on the behavior. So we're not going to do on graph start. Actually, no, we will do on graph start for this. That almost never happens, but we will do that. All right, so we're going to do, let's see, we don't need on graph stop. Actually, you know what? No, we will do on graph stop as a safety precaution, but we won't need it really. And we won't need on prepare frame, but we will need everything else, I believe. Okay. So for this, we're going to say private player cached player. Okay. And with that, we're going to say if application.isPlaying. We're just going to copy and paste that into all of these because that's all they really should be good for. We're going to say cached player is equal to global dot hero reference. I don't want to say dot hero because that would spawn them in if they don't exist. We only care about it if they do exist. On graph stop, we're going to say if cached player dot movement dot can control is equal to true. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go down here. So on behavior play, we're going to set that to be false, and then on behavior pause, we're going to set it back to true. Okay, I think that's all we needed to do for this. We'll give it a test real quick, just by testing out our current cutscene. Once it compiles, that is. Well, while that's happening, I'm going to take a drink. All right. So, let's see here. Let's go back to our triggers, turn on our bridge trigger. Okay, that's good. Let's go back to our timeline. We're going to go ahead and add a new track group. We'll call this player. We'll add a playable track. We're going to add, let's see, activate soul sharp, set player control clip. It will, I guess, be set to just this long. So for as long as, you know, we'll do it for the whole thing. sure. All right, let's go ahead and give this a test. So what should happen is as soon as we reach that trigger to trigger the cutscene, I should just not be able to move. I should be able to look around, but I shouldn't be able to move. Ooh. Okay, and... Oh! I think I'm just barely on the edge. Because I think you'll fall even if you can not control it, so... Okay, whew. That was really close. That would have sucked if I had just run off and died. Okay, so that works. Disabling the player's controls. I tried to move while that was happening, and I could not. So next, oof, that's gonna get more complicated. Next is going to be like a, oh geez, oh geez, oh geez. I have no idea how to do the next thing, actually. I can do a simple version of it, but that's not actually good enough. Right. So ideally what I would have is a spline that I could move the player along. So I could just say, like, move along spline, and I could control how the player moves along the spline. And that spline would basically just be... That actually doesn't work, does it? Well, no, it could. Just trying to think about how to handle this. Actually, you know what? First things first. I'm going to go ahead and play, and when I can't control anymore, I'm going to pause, move the player up, and then resume playing, and see if I fall. I should still fall. I'm pretty sure that I will. But I want to make sure that that's actually the case. Still can't move. Okay. Let's grab you. Grab the hero. Move you up to here. And okay. So I'll still fall. Which means that I need to tell the... Do I have a gravity? I mean, I have a value there, but I don't have a affected by gravity thing. Fair enough. So I need a way of turning off gravity for the player, because while the wizard is carrying you, you shouldn't be able to fall. And in addition to that, I need some way to do splines and move along them and move into position. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and open up our player script. And then I guess we'll open up our movement script. And the last thing I want to do is... Hold on, there should be a toggle. No clip. Here we are. Ah, okay, so I do have a enable gravity. Is this just not... Oh, I just made it a public get set. Okay. Sure. Seems odd, but okay. Wait. Yeah, okay, there we go. Fair enough. Then actually, we're going to go ahead and go back here. And we're going to say public bool disable gravity is equal to false. And let's go ahead and grab this, move this over here. We're going to say set player control behavior is equal to playable.get behavior. Then we're going to say behavior dot disable gravity is equal to disable gravity. Okay. Then we're going to come down here and ahead and do all this fun stuff. We're going to set it so that if we have set enable gravity to be disabled, then we will disable gravity. So we're going to go ahead and say cached player dot movement dot enable. Okay. It's movement dot movement, isn't it? Yep. Dot enable gravity is equal to not disable gravity. Same thing. Oh wait, actually, you know what? That's that should just be true. Okay, one more time. True. For on graph stop. And for on play, it should also, or on pause, it should again be set to just true. Okay. This is going to be interesting. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to try sprinting across the bridge, having gravity be disabled, and see if I fly. I'm actually curious to know if I'm going to, or if I'll just stop in space. I don't know how it's going to work. We'll find out. Alright, timeline. We're going to come over here to set player control clip. I'm going to disable gravity. We're going to hit play. Alright. We'll also maximize on play because I don't really need it to be small. Harumph, harumph, harumph. I am curious about this. And yeah! All right. Well, that was satisfying. Cool. So I'm gonna have to also probably call reset on velocity. All right. So I think we want to do cached player dot movement dot. Do I have like a reset or stop? No. Vector 3 dot at 0. Okay, I think that should do it. That was pretty fun though. Man. I need to work that into one of my games someday. Like, if you just run fast enough, no matter what happens, you'll still reach your enemy. Okay, so let's see what happens now. What should happen is as soon as I have my control taken away, I should just freeze in place, basically, which is what I would kind of expect here. So, yep, there it is. All right, so we're making progress. Okay, so next we would probably want to. Jeez, this is going to be fun. Let's go ahead and say create folder position. We'll say set folder and have subfolder there. That's move to position. I don't know about that, but yeah, all right. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go ahead and say create playables, playable behavior. I'm gonna call this move player behavior. Yeah, that's fair. Then we're going to need a clip, which I will create once Unity finishes compiling. Which, speaking of compiling, I think 2017.3 has the assembly definition stuff, so I can actually move my scripts over to their own custom assembly, and that would be nice. Create. Oh, almost did that wrong. Playable, yeah, playable asset. We're going to say move player clip. This also, I don't think we're going to need a special track for, so we should be fine. Reload all of this fun stuff. Should it ever choose to let me. Unity compilation times. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Alright, so move player clip. This one is going to be a little bit more involved. So we're going to have public float duration is equal to, we'll say 3F. Go ahead and tooltip that. Amount of time it takes to move the player to the designated position. Let's go ahead and also, oh, I can't call it duration. Right, we'll call it move duration. Then we'll also have public transform destination, I guess. Let's go ahead and move that up. Let's tooltip this. Position to move the player to. Alright. We're going to go ahead and make this in the text quest namespace. Go ahead and come over here. Get rid of these. I really should get rid of them in my regular stuff. Oh crap! Right. This is an exposed reference. Almost forgot. Exposed reference transform. Yep. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and say public transform destination and public float move duration is equal to 3F. Do I need anything else really? Not in particular. Oh, and actually, you know what? That's kind of pointless, isn't it? Why would I have a move duration when it should probably just be the length of the clip? Adoy. Alright, Right. So, yeah, this is where it's gonna get fun again. A couple of things. Script playable. Move player behavior. Playable is equal to script playable move player behavior. Oh, not that. Dot create. Freaking dot create. And then graph. We're going to return playable down here. Playable. We're going to say move player behavior. Behavior is equal to playable dot get behavior. We're going to say behavior dot destination is equal to destination dot resolve. Graph dot get resolver. Oh my goodness, all of the code. All right, and now we're going to want to do another caching of the player, cached player, player. Same thing. We're going to say if application dot is plain. We're going to say cached player is equal to global dot hero reference. All right. On graph stop we don't care about. In fact, we don't care about. Okay, I think we do care about on behavior play, but aside from that, I don't think we care about you. All right, and also I'm actually going to go ahead and say private vector3 initial position is equal to vector3 dot 0. Oh, and actually, you know what? Something that I do want is I'm going to go ahead and say public animation clip. Oh, not clip. Curve. We'll say. Yeah, we'll just call it curve. Is equal to new animation curve, new keyframe, 0f, 0f, new keyframe, 1f, 1f. Okay, we'll go ahead and say tooltip curve player. Curve movement will be evaluated along. Okay. So we're going to want to go ahead and do the same thing on our behavior. We're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to say behavior dot curve is equal to curve. That should do that. All right. So for initial position, or on behavior play, I'm sorry, we're going to set initial position is equal to, almost forgot, if application dot, not what I wanted, application dot is playing. We're going to say application. Initial position is equal to cached player dot. Do I have a cache transform on that? No, of course I don't. Transform dot position. Cool. And actually, you know what? While we're here, let's go ahead and make like a target position, and we'll just set target position is equal to destination dot position. Simple as that. And prepare frame. This is where we're going to do some weird stuff, and hopefully I can remember how to do it correctly. But we're basically just going to do if application is playing, because again, otherwise it's going to try to do it in the editor when we're previewing stuff, and we don't care about that. So we want to say cached player dot transform dot position is equal to vector3 dot lerp, which I know is not the most efficient thing to do right now, but we'll just shortcut it for now. So we're going to lerp from initial position to target position based on, and this is where it gets fun, I don't remember what my actual thing is. Is it time? Nope, it's not time. Let's do info dot delta time. Nope. Frame ID, time loop. No. There's a... Dang it. Let me think of another clip that's doing this. Let me go ahead and actually... Oh, you know what I bet I could do is find all references. Crud. Actually, you know what? Let me look for this in the project to see if I'm doing anything here. Find all. Oh, that's distressing. Okay. All right, going in blind. Playable. Dot. Actually, hold on. Do I have current? Nope. Duration. Nope. Frame. Nope. Okay. Let me go to playable behavior. Definition. Clone on behavior pause. Is it literally just these? Okay. Playable dot get graph. Okay. Dot. Yeah. Here's where. Ah, jeez. There is a way to do this. I just don't remember what it is. What are my options here? Get graph, input, get input count, input weight, get output, get playable type, speed, type, get time. That's part of it. And then I think I want to do something like divided by playable dot get graph dot get. Oh no, not get graph. Dot get duration. Right? Question mark? Okay, get duration is a float. Oh, no, it's probably because of this. Hold on. I think, hold on. Playable dot get. I don't remember if it's just that. Play state, speed. Because I thought the time was... I think that's right. Well, we'll find out. Because if I remember correctly, get time is basically how long that clip has been playing for. So by doing it this way, we'll basically slowly get up to a eventual 1 value, at which point our transform position will be where we expect it to be. Let's try this out. Oh, and I almost forgot. We want to say curve dot evaluate along that value that we just made. There we are. So let's see if that works. I have high confidence. Confidence far greater than I should. In fact, you might even say that I am overly confident. Actually, I'm just really hoping that this works. Because I'm pretty sure that those are the calls that we want to make. It's just been a while since I've had to do that in timeline. Okay, so let's go to our timeline real quick. We're going to go ahead and add another playable track. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and say move player clip. Our destination... For now, I'm just going to go ahead and make a new game object. Where are you? We're going to position you, I don't know, right about basically in front of the wizard. Right about here, I think. One more down. All right. So let's go ahead, open this up. Player, it's going to go to here. We'll call this magic point. Magic point. Okay. So what should happen is when we activate the cutscene, I should stop being able to move, and I should immediately start moving into or towards the magic point. It should take, it looked like it was about 5 seconds, I think, the duration of the clip. Hooray! Ha ha ha! It works! And pretty soon I think I'll, yeah, there it is. All right, so that works, and it works along a curve, so that's good. What else will we need for this cutscene? So we have the wizard. Well, we don't actually have the wizard showing up yet. That's not animated, which will probably need to be its own cutscene. And we're gonna need to have. Let me think. So this is 5 seconds long. It took about 5 seconds. Let's shorten this to about 3 seconds. And let's also go ahead and move our bridge trigger over so that it's closer to the other side. Because with this refactor, we don't actually want it to trigger that far away. It should trigger pretty much as soon as you get to the other side, or slightly before it. So we're going to change our depth, make this like 2, a little bit closer. Probably have this like right about there, really. Yeah, that's fine. And let's see, what else do we want? I mean, for the most part, this is going to be a gray box thing. I mean, we could have the wizard show up, like actually have him be disabled until then, but I guess we'll do that just to see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and add a new track group for the wizard. Wizard. We'll add not an animation track, an activation track. This is going to be like a really simplified version of what we're eventually going to do. So we're going to have him show up after you move into position, basically. So that's going to be our wizard. And we'll just have him show up and then disappear after a little bit, and then he'll show up again. Well, he won't show up again in the same cutscene. That would be when he leaves the actual cutscene. So let's take a look at that. So what should happen is we activate the cutscene when we're almost to the other side of the bridge. We get moved into position in front of where the wizard shows up, and then the wizard will show up. Obviously, what we have right now is very rudimentary. In the future, it's going to be like him boring up from the ground and spinning or something. Oop, okay. I'm going to need a particle effect for this too, to like surround you, to imply that you're being magicked. All right, so that worked. Trying to think. How much of this do we want to handle tonight? I suppose. Let's go ahead and go to our cutscenes. We're gonna have a couple of different cutscenes. So the bridge collapse will be one. We'll need the wizard appears. And I suppose we'll have a controlling cutscene. So we'll call this like. I guess actually it would be the actual collapse. So let's go ahead and call that bridge collapse. We'll call this the bridge collapse parent, and the other cutscenes will be parented below it. And both of these need to have playable directors assigned to them, not play on awake. Everything else should be the same. All right, so we need to create some new timelines. Create timeline. Right there. We're gonna call this Canyon dash wizard appears, I guess. And then create timeline. And this will be Canyon dash wizard vanishes. And I think that's pretty much all I'm going to need. That does complicate things. Jeez. So the reason that I'm breaking these up into separate cutscenes is because I really don't like having massive cutscenes. By which I mean I don't like having massive timelines. Because it starts getting kind of confusing and really, really big, and I feel like it's better to have sort of isolated cutscenes that I can play, and then I can have a master controller for them all. So this kind of sucks because I don't really know what to call my parent one. We'll go ahead and say one final timeline, which is going to be our Canyon bridge, I guess master. Don't really know what else to call it. We'll add this to you. Wizard appears will be added to you. All right. So for this, we're going to go ahead and add a couple of track groups. Actually, you know what? Really, only the one is fine. We're going to call this cutscenes. And then we're going to add some play cutscene tracks, which is in common, isn't it? Play cutscene track. Yeah. So we're going to add a reference to the wizard appearing, which, of course, means that its duration is going to be 0 because it doesn't have anything yet. And that's fair. That's perfectly fair. Let's go back here to Wizard Appears. Let's add some tracks. We're going to have the player set up. We're going to add a track group for the wizard. So for the player, we're going to want a couple of things. Pretty much we're going to want to move this stuff over. Um, let's go to Wizard Appears. We're going to add playable track, clip, set player control clip. We will disable gravity. We'll add another playable track. Add clip. Move player clip. Make that last 3 seconds. We'll give it that magic point again. I'm going to add an activation track for the wizard. He will be active pretty much the entire time. He's not going to be up here initially. He's going to be below the ground, and then he'll like bore up. Although I do kind of need to figure out how I want to do that. Do I want him to bore up, or do I want him to like tornado in? Like have his letters all... that could work. You know what? Let's go ahead and save this. Go back to the Canyon Bridge Master. Make sure that that expands to be whatever it should be. All right. So I think. Well, actually, no. Before we do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and come over here. I want to edit something in my SOS playable asset. Go to definition. Manual duration. Find all references. Right. We're going to go ahead and change this to a bool. Is equal to false. False. And you'll adjust the length of the clip. This will override the sound. Oh, you know what? Can't do that. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and say public double, not double, bool, use manual duration is equal to false. This is an optimization that I made at work. There's no real reason for it to be a manual duration of a specific length when all I really care about is the manual duration part. So I just won't set its length automatically. This is a minor diatribe, but figured I would make this before I forgot. So we'll say clip dot use manual duration. Oh no, actually it's just going to be straight up this. If not clip dot not club clip dot use manual duration, then we will do this. See, it simplifies my code way more. Makes it a lot easier to look at. Go ahead and we're going to say if clip dot use manual duration duration. Get rid of all of this fun stuff. Okay. If not particles not mean loop and not use manual. Oops, not clip dot use manual duration. Cool. So that was a minor thing that I wanted to fix. But I think that's a pretty good place to stop for the night, actually. We figured out a lot of Kurante effects stuff. We figured out that we probably are going to have a art pipeline for that is a little bit more cumbersome than I would have liked, but will work and will let us keep our UVs, or at the very least have similarly UV'd things. That's going to be actually kind of annoying. That probably means that I need to change... Ugh! Okay. Yeah. That means I need to change my my rotation on the original. Of course I do. On the ropes, because otherwise it's going to be really, really noticeable when they suddenly convert into ropes that have flats on top, not on the sides. Well, I guess I didn't really have them on the sides, but yeah. Point is that a giant topography change will probably be noticeable to people. You'll see it kind of like snap into place, and it'll be weird. So So that's a whole can of worms I'm going to have to deal with tonight. But I'm glad that we figured all that out. That's actually pretty exciting. And we do have a very rudimentary initial pass at our first cutscene. Well, not our first cutscene, at our canyon cutscene, which includes, activating the wizard, turning off player controls, moving the player over, and triggering an animation for the bridge collapse. So we've basically got the building blocks all set up. It's just that we need to get the final art assets in there and polish everything up. But I think that's a pretty good place to stop for the night. So as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.